Greetings, personal governors. I'm JP.WATKINS, your host. Today we're going to have a very tough topic. Talking about the power of perspective. And I'm doing this in the spirit of talking about depression, and suicide, and pity, all in that package. Now I understand. Let's get the first thing out the way. There are people that have clinical depression. There's people that have real mental health issues. If you are one of those people, if you know one of those people, there's help out there. Reach out to a professional. Get some assistance. Get some help. And sometimes depression is just a short-term thing. You just, hey, you had a setback. You got fired. You went through a breakup. You went through a divorce. And you're just feeling down, right? But I want to give you the power of perspective, because I've worked in healthcare and human services for over the last 25 years. And I've seen some things, and I want to share some of those stories with you. Because sometimes people think, hey man, look, I'm tired of this emotional pain and I just want it to be over with. And I want it to be over with now. And there are people that do complete suicide because they're in so much pain. So this is why I'm stressing. If you are in a state of depression, get some help. Reach out to some counselors. Reach out for some help. Some professional help, to somebody you trust. Call your local services. There's help out there. But it's a couple situations in particular. I took care of a young lady, and this was many years ago. This is probably over 30 years ago. I was a young man. I was working at a nursing home, and this lady, she had a hobble. She almost walked kind of like a penguin, and her legs were, she like walked on her heels, and just through conversation, got to talk, and come to find out, she tried to kill herself. She jumped over a bridge, and she landed on her feet. So she shattered all the bones, in her body, especially from her legs. Every major bone in her legs that shattered, and it actually shoved her lower extremities up into her gut, like maybe 5-6 inches. All right. So she looked at, like she had jumped off a bridge, and she had to relearn how to walk and everything. She was in chronic pain. And she said the worst mistake that she ever made was jumping off that bridge. She said she remembered as soon as she jumped over, she wished she had some brakes, but there were no brakes. And she said that's the worst thing she did. That the bridge that she chose to jump over, it was big enough to deeply disable her and shatter all her bones, but not big enough to kill her. So it was just enough to make everything that much more miserable. So she said, that's the biggest mistake I made. So I went from being a perfectly healthy person that could feed myself, I could go running, I can go jogging, I can go do all these wonderful things, even though I felt bad. And now, not only do I feel bad, my body feels bad, and I can no longer do those things. Power of perspective. I was talking to my daughter the other day. Shout out to Jamira. I call her Mamas. I was talking to her just the other day. She was talking about a guy that she knew, so he was driving home. He felt like, I just want to get it over with. And he took a gun and shot himself. And he did not die. So now, he's walking around here with a bullet lodged in his head. One of his eyes gone. Perspective. That moment, that urgency was so strong and so great. And a lot of times our feelings can get the best of us. But this is why it's important to have that perspective. To know that, oh, you know what? You feel terrible now. Give it some time. Reach out for some help. Reach out to somebody you love, somebody you trust. reach out to a professional, healthcare professional. You know, reach out to a counselor, a psychologist, whoever you need to reach out to that can kind of calm you, you can bounce some ideas off of. Because sometimes, contrary to belief, it's a lot of people that make things a lot worse, make their life a lot more challenging because they don't succeed in suicide. You know, so, you know, yeah, I don't advocate suicide. I really don't. I really feel like, hey, you know what? I know it's tough. We can get through it. And sometimes we hit those low points and we want to give up. And for some people, giving up is taking a life. But this is one of those things, power perspective. Now that's a very extreme. But for other people, maybe people be thinking, hey, I want to just walk off this job. Well, think about it now. Think about it before you get mad and just walk off your job. And now you're going to be struggling to take care of your kids, struggling to put food on the table. Power of perspective. Think about it. Say, you know what? Hey, you know what? I got a limited skill set. I need to go ahead and start improving my skills. I need to scale up and scale up. So that I use that extreme example, but it's not just applicable to that. It's applicable to other things. If you're thinking about walking out of a relationship, you know, hey, you know, maybe you're just tired. Maybe y'all going through a dry point, but y'all been together 8 years. You know? Think about how to stick it out, how to work it out. What happens if you know, hey, you know she love you. You know he love you. They're well tested. You can trust them. They ain't brought you no STDs. They ain't jumped on you. They love you. Y'all going through a spell. Work through it. The power of perspective. Look at it. It's people somewhere, somebody laying somewhere alone right now. They wish they had what you got. They wish they had somebody texting them and nagging them. They wish they had somebody getting on their nerves. They lonely. It's somebody thinking about hurting themselves because they're alone, because they don't have no companionship. And here you are miserable because you got companionship that you're tired of. Power of perspective. Think about it. Yeah, I know what you're going through is tough. But it's somebody else that wish they was in your shoes. And it could be tougher. And I know somebody gonna say, oh, well, you don't know what I'm going through. You're right, I don't know what you're going through. You know what you're going through. But ask yourself, can it be worse? And more importantly, ask yourself, will it get better? And are you going to give yourself time for it to get better? Are you going to stick with it? Are you going to stay with it? Are you going to govern your attitude and your actions? All right, that's my time. Hit the subscribe button. In the meantime, persist, believe, and achieve.